Hi, I'm Pat and welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about my exotic car ownership. If you're new to the channel, please click on the subscribe button and ring that bell for notifications. I like producing cool car content, and today I want to talk about not only my 2018 Lamborghini Huracan Performante, but how I was able to get in and out of exotic cars over the past 5 years and not lose my butt. If you've been following my channel for a while, I revealed a few things about myself that I also want to talk about here. I grew up in a very depressed area of Pennsylvania. My dad, he worked as a mechanic at a coal company. He was working on heavy equipment. And my mom, she worked in a cutting room for textiles. So it was a very depressed area, a very blue-collar area. And I was always taught, save your money for a rainy day. Put your money in a bank. Put it in CDs where you could get the best interest. Don't buy extravagant things. And now I'm here. So how did I get from there to here? Because a lot of people, when I'm driving this car around, are asking, what did you do for a living to be able to afford this car? And well, I figure it's about time that I actually talk about how I was able to go from that to this and everything in between. Very quickly, up until 2008, I drove Corvettes, loved the cars. I had a job working in computers, cybersecurity, and then I got laid off and I sold pretty much almost everything I had because now I needed to take a huge pay cut. And from 2008 up until 2018, I saved my money. But then I got the itch. I want to get into a Corvette again, and I bought the BMW i8. I thought the car was so cool, and I went onto the forums to learn how to do an oil change and learned that everybody was scared to do it. So I created a YouTube channel and I said, here's how you work on the car. And it took off. If you've been watching me for a while, you know that part. What you don't know is that I had no idea what I was doing when I got into buying and selling exotic cars. I drove all over looking for a clean BMW i8, and they were a mess. Talk about scrapes on the exterior, interior with just stains and holes, bottoms of the car all messed up. And every time I would look at a car like this, I'm like, why is this thing so beat up? And the dealers would say, it's normal. You know, people buy these cars, they drive them hard, and then they put them up for sale. So that's what you're walking into buying a used car. You know, if you don't like that, buy new. And I'm like, no, there's no way I'm paying 150 grand for a BMW i8 brand new. I want to get it for half that. And I also want to be able to get it and be clean. I don't want a messed up car. But it was a long process for me to be able to find one, and I actually did get my 2015 BMW i8. I spent 80 grand for that car. I then went to get insurance for it. They quoted me $1,300 per year. And then I started to talk to other people about what's the maintenance like and how long should I really be keeping this car so that I don't hurt myself when I go to sell it? Because if I trade it in, I may lose $10,000, $15,000, $20,000. So what do I got to do to prevent that? And every exotic car owner that I met said, doesn't matter, we're all making decent money. Just drive it, enjoy it, get rid of it, and buy something else. That wasn't in my blood. I actually wanted to be able to buy this car, enjoy it, and sell it without losing a lot of money. So here I was already behind the 8 ball, had no idea what I was doing in exotic car ownership. I just knew how to work on them. So here we go. I started researching online, what do I need to do to not lose a lot of money during my i8 ownership, and how do I sell the car and actually not lose a lot of money on the sales end? And by doing the research, I came across Exotic Car Hacks. And a lot of videos out there claimed Exotic Car Hacks was a scam because they claimed that you could get into and out of an exotic car for less than it would cost to buy a brand new Honda Accord. And I'm like, how is that possible? I don't understand it. So I spent some time doing some research, and I decided, you know what, let me just go ahead and buy into the Exotic Car Hacks community. And along with that came a lot of training. They taught how to buy a car correctly, what things to look for in the best exotic cars, how to not only buy them at the right price, how to negotiate, how to get good deals on insurance, how to save money on sales tax, and then when you were finally done, how to not lose a lot of money on exit. And I said, wow, I wish I would have known this before I bought an i8. But now that I'm in the i8, let me take advantage of what I know now in order to not only enjoy the car, not lose a lot of money, but also sell the car. And so the training was hugely important to me. And during the process, I thought, well, if I can get into a BMW i8, then I should be able to get into an even faster supercar. And that's when I was looking at other platforms. And because of the tips and the tricks and the education that I learned at Exotic Car Hacks, I learned that the Acura NSX would be the next best platform for me. During that time, I was driving all around and trying to find a clean Acura NSX, and I ran into the same thing that I ran into with the i8. A lot of these cars were beat up, but I found one that was pretty decent shape, and it was at an Acura dealership. And when I went to look at it, they were asking $130,000. With what I learned at Exotic Car Hacks, I negotiated that car down to $120,000. I then said, I want to go through your financing. Here's $1,000 down. I want to finance the rest. Poof, it was done. Not only that, when I went to insure it, I spent $200 a year less than it cost me to insure the BMW i8. I had already saved a lot more just in that transaction of buying that car than it cost me to buy Exotic Car Hacks. Now, by the way, there is a link in the description for your convenience if you're interested. I'm not pushing Exotic Car Hacks, but I'm telling you right now, it's not a scam and it works. So my next step in the process was to sell the BMW i8. I used what I learned at ECH and I sold that car for $2,000 less than I bought it. That's right, I bought it for $80,000 and I sold it for $78,000. Granted, yes, I had to pay tax on the car, sales tax. I had to pay insurance on the car. But to get in and out of an exotic car and only lose $2,000, wow. Okay, I was sold. This is working. This is really, really cool. So when it came time to buy other cars, I got into a Cayman S and I got into a GT4 Porsche as well. I used the same tips and tricks that I learned in ECH in order to get in and out of those cars. And I actually broke even with the Porsches. And then I said, well, I always wanted to own a Lamborghini. Always wanted one. I remember on the wall in my bedroom, I had the poster of the Lamborghini Countach, but I didn't think it was possible. And then I said, well, if I want to get into that and I want to make it happen where I don't lose a lot of money, I need to use the tips and tricks from Exotic Car Hacks. So before I bought this car, I sold my Acura NSX. Now remember, I bought that car for $120,000. I sold it for $117,000. And $3,000 of loss over 3 years, that was amazing. Same with the i8, $2,000 loss over 3 years. I got to enjoy these cars and I lost only $5,000 between both of them. Yes, I did have to pay taxes. Yes, I had to pay insurance. But this was amazing. I couldn't believe that I was actually able to do this. But I was prepared when I did buy the Performante. How much am I going to lose in this car? Because this is a totally different beast. And how much driving am I going to have to do in order to check this car out at different dealers and then negotiate it? Well, I said I didn't want to deal with any of that. I'd already driven all over creation for the i8. I drove all over creation for the NSX. I decided to purchase something called a car finder, which is something that PJ offers in Exotic Car Hacks. And for a few grand, I was actually able to outsource the purchasing, the negotiation, the pre-purchase inspection, all out to PJ's team. So Ariel, who works for PJ, he was the guy within 5 days saying, I got a Huracan Performante, here it is, does it meet what you're looking for? And if it does, we'll start going through the process of pre-purchase inspection. They'd already negotiated the car down from list price online. So I would look at the car and I'd say, yeah, everything about this looks really good. I like the color, I like the spec, let's send it to pre-purchase inspection. Well, we sent 3 cars to pre-purchase inspection. 3 of those cars were in horrible shape. One had odometer fraud. And that's one thing that's very common with these Lamborghini Huracans, and I'm going to talk about that in a future video. But anyway, we got to this car. We sent this car to pre-purchase inspection. It was a true cream puff. Everything except that one leaking strut, which I replaced, link in the description below. Everything about this car was nearly perfect. And I was able to get into it for less than list price. And I had access to an insurance broker who could get me a great deal on insurance for this particular car. Granted, it is a Huracan Performante, a top-of-the-line Huracan for 2018. And still, I'm able to get into this car and it not hurt the pocketbook. Now, I don't have this car up for sale right now, and I'll have to do a follow-up video to let you all know what I actually got when I sold the car, but I'm hoping that I can actually get in and out for a lot less money than it would normally cost me if I had done this all on my own. So special thanks to Exotic Car Hacks, PJ, Ariel, and the entire team for being able to get me into this car and out of the other cars without losing a lot of money. Once again, there's a link in the description below if you're interested, but I can tell you with 100% surety, this is not a scam. This is education that gives you the tools, the tips, the tricks, and the access to a network of other exotic car owners all over the United States and even a few internationally, so that if you have any questions about the process, if you know it's the right car to get into, well, they're there to help you. Now, what makes Exotic Car Hacks a hack? Well, you're just going to have to join to find out. I think a hack means I can get in and out of this car without losing a lot of money. And if they claim you can get in and out of an exotic for less money than it costs to finance a Honda Accord, they're right. Check them out, link in the description. Thanks for watching and happy motoring.